Can We Just Play is a groundbreaking radio show broadcast from the Boat Pod. Each episode features artists, cultural makers and everyday people in conversations about play and how it intersects with work, life, cultural identity and society. My name is Imwen and I create spaces for adults to play. That's plain adulthood and not adult play, although that's play too. To me, play is art, poetry, books, music, movies, comedy, sport, and daydreaming. Welcome, my name is Imwen, pronounced Imwen, and I'm a play alchemist, and I create spaces for adults to play. I make games, experiences, and adventures, mostly games in physical spaces that use technology, but I also make things in analog. This radio show is my bid to challenge the conventional narratives about who gets to talk about play and how. This is my space for actively generating alternative perspectives that nurture economic justice within the play sector. Join me as we reimagine the vital role of play in adulthood and uncover how those conversations can transform the communities they serve, whilst building a resource of fresh insights into play's role in society today. This week, we'll be discussing play with B. Manzini, whose artistry and words move across borders, bodies and generations, carving a space for healing, resistance and reimagining. Welcome, B.
Thank you.
I'm now going to give you a full intro because I think that that's very important. B. Manzini lives in the UK as a professional multidisciplinary artist. Born to freedom-fighting parents in Southern Africa, having lived experience of activism, disability and trauma, her work through poetry, literature and visual arts is often around identity, loss, grief, resilience and hope. Manzini has been part of the staples of the arts landscape, having curated for the London Literature Festival, performed at Apples and Snakes, the V&A, music events like Love Supreme Festival, headlined that year by Shaka Khan, no less. The first ever artist in residence for Sundance.
Thank you.
B has performed across the country and abroad, having appeared on Channel 4, across BBC television and radio, plus various podcasts. Manzini enjoys also being a workshop facilitator and mentor, having taught over 7,000 students. Publishers include Flipped Eye and Corsair. B. Manzini is the founder of the Newham Poetry Prize, an exciting new poetry competition that launched this spring and culminated in a celebration on the 13th of June in the borough. But more importantly, and more significantly, Manzini's words have won awards and have been turned into murals, postcards, sculpture and film. Welcome.
Thank you. That was a very warm welcome. I'm so happy to be here in this amazing venue and with you.
It's great to have you. And before we start, I have to comment that this is like a full circle moment, because what I think a lot of people don't know is that during COVID, I interviewed about 12 people online about play in adulthood, part of my residential research, and you were one of my guests then. So I think we had very similar questions, but I remember that it was a lot of fun and your answers were super insightful and rich. So I'm really delighted and grateful to be on a boat on this glorious day with you talking about play in adulthood.
I mean, what could be better? What could be better?
Great. Tell me more about what's holding your attention and interest right now.
Well, it's so interesting because you talked about the fact that we've had this conversation and I listened back to it and I'm like, I mean, it's such a different place. I mean, it was many years ago now, and how I perceive play, how I incorporate play into my life. And I think that it has become much more of a physical thing and also an internal thing. So I got really unwell actually post-COVID, and it changed my relationship with my body a lot. So I was doing, half marathons. I was pacing people over the line. Like I was in it, and doing that, regularly. And that was a really big part of my life. And I wasn't able to return to that in the same way. So I'm having a really different conversation with my body now, which is very much about restoration, very much about relaxation, being curious, but in a very different way. It's less about how far can I go, and that, I guess, that competitive winning edge, and it's more about how does it feel. And I think that one of the really interesting things about the definition of play is that it's about enjoyment. So if we're playing, we need to be having a good time.
We do. We need to be having some fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot more like barefoot walking. I'm a bit of a hippie, hugging trees, stretching, breathing, feeling the sun on my face, walking through a low-hanging tree and feeling the leaves on my skin and going, curious, what does this feel like? What
Back
does
to
that
the
feel
root of
like?
what it means to your body.
Yeah.
For your body.
Exactly. And it's a less traditional concept of what play is. But I guess one of my ethoses in life is, I wonder what would happen if.
It's always a great starting point.
Right.
What playful activities or games have been capturing your attention? So you've spoken a little bit about sort of bringing things back to your body and the changing how you relate to play. So, and you have actually said sort of some of the newer activities that you've been exploring. You've explained that the habits have evolved, but how often does play happen for you now?
Daily.
Daily.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think it's really important to find enjoyment, connection and joy in your life. So I try to begin my morning with some sort of play, some sort of exploration, again, like it might be external in nature or internally. And then before I even start dealing with what needs to be done, the to-do list, all of that kind of stuff. And for me, what I find is it just kind of elevates the mundane to a place that makes it a little bit more settled and grounded.
So it's become, in a way, sort of like an additional practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take a moment to then tune into your musical side, because we're on a radio show. So I'm going to ask, what's a song that always energizes you? And I think that we will play the track and then you'll tell me about it and why.
The blackness, keep on. Never say die, keep on. Blackness, keep on. Never say die, keep on. The blackness, never say die, never say die.
And we're back. Thank you. Before I move on to the next question, if you'd like to share with me and the audience the significance of the song.
It's such an energizing song. And I think when I was considering the concept of play and coming, you know, it talks about winning and keeping your head to the sky and knowing that you can do it. And it's such a vibrationally uplifting. I mean, I can never hear that song and not feel something, even if my head's a bit, you know, in a different space, or my heart is, or, you know, I check in with 3 points, my head, my heart and my stomach. How am I doing in those spaces? And even if I've got some kind of anxiety or something's going on, it just takes the edge of it. And I think that's much healthier than having gin. So, yeah, Sounds of
Although
Blackness.
that's good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Sounds of Blackness is definitely a song that calls people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just brings you from wherever you are into that moment. It's like a portal, isn't it?
It's such a high vibrational song. And I think as well, there's something about the voices, the instruments, like the way it just all comes together. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, optimistic, the word of the day.
There we are. We will take that. Optimistic. So I'm going to take us back on a journey to where it all began and to talk about the early influences. So what were your parents' attitudes and beliefs to play? Did they play with you? And did they make a specific time for play?
No, not at all. And I think that, you know, Southern African parents who'd arrived in the country to make a better life for themselves, they were very much focused on doing that, on work and on working hard. And yeah, I absolutely know that it was about them trying to secure a better life for themselves. So play didn't really factor into the equation, which I don't even know if that's unusual even today, let alone, you know, back in the day. But I think my earliest memories of play were, you know, typically playing games in my streets with other children. I had siblings, playing with them. My elder brother was, you know, really into gaming and stuff, and he would take me to the arcade and then wanted to stop taking me to the arcade because I became a better gamer than him, and I would cock out the games and he'd be frustrated.
That's where the competitive edge started.
And you know what's really interesting? I would say that I'm not competitive at all. And I think that it may even have stemmed from that, because he was like actually disappointed that his baby sister, you know, within the patriarchy and what have you, like, you know, this little kid is like mashing him up at this game, right? And so I think that I actually became very aware of, even when I played competitive sports, I mean, I was goal attacking netball. I was really good at heptathlon. I did hurdles.
So just
I did
really
running.
active.
I was really, really active, but I was always really aware of the other people on my team. And I think that when you come from a big family like I did, you kind of have to have
that awareness.
You understand that because you're in a similar position, right? So my competitiveness wasn't really there, because I mean I could have probably made a lot of money, right? I could have got into the circuit and all the rest of it. I didn't even, you know, think, you know, as a kid, but you don't even think of that way. But yeah, I found other avenues to kind of express myself.
I think at that age, a lot of us just play and enjoy it, don't we?
Yeah.
Enjoy the play with others and the team camaraderie, I guess. Can you share a memory of childhood and playing that has stuck with you, and sort of tell me why?
I decided that I would follow a friend of mine to a gymnastic class. Absolutely terrified of doing a headstand. I mean, even to this day, there's something about, maybe it's the African in me, there's this whole spiritual thing around your head, right? It's like, this is the most precious thing. You do not mess with that. So me trying to do a handstand, I was someone that would like jump across walls and do, you know, like if I'm on my feet, I'm good, you know, splits, what have you. But yeah, headstands and that kind of thing. I was always really kind of nervous, and it just, I remember that point because I would see other people just like flinging themselves all about the place, and I was like, no, I'm just really not gonna risk it. And I was about probably about 10 at the time. So it was like quite in a sense, a mature thing to be thinking in that way, because children
Just to
don't.
have that awareness as
To
well.
have that awareness and to have that restraint. And I bring that up because I think that you also have to be very safe to be able to play and play at your fullest. And that's what that brought up for me. I was like, I just didn't feel safe enough to be able to express my body and see what my body could do in that space.
So we're in this space and time, and while we're talking about childhood memories, I'm going to ask you if you can recall a song from one of the first albums you bought that really resonated with you. And again, we're going to play it, and then I'll ask you to share the significance.
She's a rich girl. She don't try to hide it. Got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy, empty as a pocket. He's empty as a pocket with nothing to lose. Sing ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Rich boy. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Rich guy. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Yeah. Well, that's one way Lucy's walking blues. Ah, diamonds on the soles of your shoes. She was physically forgotten, but then she slipped into my pocket with my car keys. She said you've taken me for granted because I please you. Where is diamond? I could say, as if everybody here would know what I was talking about. I mean, as if everybody here knows what I am talking about. I'm talking about diamonds on the soles of your shoes. She makes the sign of a teaspoon, he makes the sign of a wave. The poor boy changes clothes and he puts on aftershave. Ah, to compensate for his ordinary shoes. Yeah, to compensate for his ordinary shoes. And she said, honey, take me dancing, but they ended up by sleeping in a doorway by the bodegas and the lights on up Broadway, wearing diamonds on the soles of their shoes. And I could say, and everybody here would know what I was talking about. I mean, everybody here knows what we are talking about. We're talking about diamonds on the soles of your shoes now. Diamond, diamond. easy. I got diamonds on the soles of my shoes, yeah. Well, but that's one way to lose these walking blues. Diamonds on the soles of your ta-na-na-na-na. 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 Well, ta-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Ta-na-na-na.
That was lovely.
Yeah, beautiful song, right?
Really beautiful song.
That song always raises my vibration. I love sharing it. So yeah.
Thank you. Could you share the name of the song? Tell us more about it and its significance and what it recalls for you.
Well, it is called Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. It was the live version, but the title alone, especially for me as a poet, I mean, the storytelling in this song is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I wish I'd written that. Oh, I wish I'd written that. Gorgeous, gorgeous writing. And then musically, it's really important for me because there's a lot of significance culturally. So being Southern African, it's Paul Simon and Ladysmith Black Mambazo. And so I always feel like this sense of homecoming as well. Ladysmith Black Mambazo came to London a few times, and it's the only concert that my parents took me to.
Wow.
And so this is a little bit of a cheat of a question because I didn't buy that album. It was an album that was playing in my household. And they would also, you know, have it on VHS and stuff in terms of when it was performed live. So it was very much part of my inspiration in terms of expression. So it's a significant one in terms of that. And like I said, I wish I'd written it. But having it in my life and being able to listen to it is, you know, is beautiful.
Yeah, and the memories it calls. I think fantastic to have been to see it live with your parents.
Yeah, really, really. I mean, obviously in this version, we're hearing the audience kind of do the oohs and the ahs and whatever, and it's all of that kind of beautiful Southern African movement that is commonly known as the gumboot dance. And, you know, that kicking and that, you know, that real kind of energized warrior energy. It's so beautiful to see that. So, yeah, very, very blessed.
So we're going to shift back to the present and your personal play identity. And I'm going to ask you, how would you describe your personal play style?
I think I would describe it as very open, very much around curiosity. I think that there's something really divine and interesting when you can just completely let go. I mean, we were talking about a concert, right? And when you go to a music event and it's like, I went to one recently, and the first thing that the artist said when they came on stage was like, this is where you get to let it all go. And I think that that's very much how I like to play.
Okay, you're ready. You just give yourself permission to
just go and be in your flow state. And, you know, whether I'm playing with, because like I said, for me, it can be internal, it can be external through nature. It can be me making something from clay. It can be me creating a poem. It can be, so many different articulations. I'm using pencil, I'm using paint. But the whole point is just to really immerse myself in it. And I think with writing sometimes, especially with the topics that I can cover, it can be really challenging to stay authentic. And I say that because if it isn't an easy subject and somebody who's a Care Bear, you're taking care of your audience, right? So you're like, how much do I give? How much don't I give? But I think the first time you just get into that process, especially with writing, just let it all go. You can figure the rest out later, right?
Great advice. What's your secret playground?
My secret playground is my bed. Me and a quill, that's good times. And, I say it in jest but not. And I say that because I think play and rest should be siblings. You know what I'm saying?
I think that they're also one in the same. Yes.
Yeah. And so there is something really luxurious about having that slow morning where you can just take your time. And as I said, I try to start my day with play. But before I come out of my cocoon, also just being there and being like, oh, and it's a check-in moment, right? It's like, how am I doing today? How's my body doing? What has been my first thought? What's my head, heart, stomach saying? Always go back to that. So yeah, I start under the duvet.
Yeah. Or even permission to just go.
Right? And just be here. But, I think like play, we often talk about it in the lens of what children do. And I think rest as well in the society that we live in, where it's go, capitalism, blah, blah, blah. Rest is kind of like poo-poo. Oh yeah, I'll rest when I'm dead.
When I'm dead, when I'm dead or when I'm done. But it's definitely a part of the cycle, isn't it? In order to be able to play, you need to rest and rejuvenate and reset. So definitely, and definitely about childhood. I mean, we talk about childhood here just to sort of draw in sort of who influenced us and why. But we are definitely playing adulthood because I think play is a fundamental human right.
Absolutely.
And we don't have to justify it by talking about or leaning into childhood. We're here now, we're adults, and we play. Imagine you had a limited or limitless, let's say, budget for play. What would you create?
Oh my gosh, I would buy a park. I would buy a park and I would plant every single species of everything I could find. There would be birds, everything would be going on. It would be a sensory playground, and I would invite people to come and be barefoot, just be there and be in that space and be as you are and in your nature and interact with other people, interact with other things. I think that would be a really lovely playground, and safety, which I talked to you about before.
But what a great thing to give people. Yeah, I think you'd have a lot of...
a queue outside the door. Well, now we've put it out into the ether. Donations, please. There'll be a crowdfunder tomorrow.
There we go. If your play style could be captured in one emoji, what would it be and why?
It would be starting the cartwheel. Because I told you about my head, right? So I wouldn't get all the way, but I'd start. And I'd have, the intention and the impetus. And I'd land my feet somehow, because that would be part of it, right? It'd be like, well, I'm on my hands now. What am I going to do next? We got to figure it out. So I might have to create a whole new emoji for me, but that would be the starting point.
Next.
Yeah. That would be the starting point, the cartwheel. Go for it.
Fantastic. What song are you listening to right now? And how is that reflecting your mood and inspiring you sort of like in this moment?
Yeah, great question. I have recently acquired Omar's new album, Brighter the Days. It's a great listen, really great listen. You mentioned in the intro that we had the celebration from the UN Poetry Prize.
Yes.
On Friday.
Yes,
and
congratulations.
Thank you. And I couldn't wait to share the album with people. I played it and it was absolutely wonderful. So it was really hard to pick one track, because it really does live up to the title Brighter the
That's
Days.
always the case with Omar's music.
Yeah. And also he's the king of collaboration.
Yeah.
So I finally landed on the track that he does with gigs. So yeah, I hope people enjoy it.
All right, let's play.
We can go anywhere you decide to be. We can be free. You bring out the best in me. Taking the time, show how much you mean to me.
Choose your drink. Over there some fruits and punch. Ooh, over there some booze and shrimp. Make yourself at home, you're around some goons and pins. Babe, put down your phone and maybe choose a prince. Hear the whispers when I bear the gifts. Gotta watch the snakes now, cause I hear them hiss. Black power, yeah, they fear the fist. Sort of Marty McFly, I ain't scared of Biff. This youth's a failure, and trying to diss my fruits of labor. Get out my boat, exclusive sailor. Might take a flight, I choose Australia. I smell success, check myself, I self-assess. Respect yourself, this world's a mess. She brought it out, my girl's the best.
Anywhere you would decide to be free. You bring out the best in me. Taking the time, show how much you mean to me. It's the love. We can go anywhere you would decide to be. You can be free. You bring out the best in me. Taking the time, show how much you mean to me. Baby, we can have it all. My mind is yours and you are wrong. I once was weak, you made me strong. Yeah, you took my dream and made it real. I spun the wheel and won the deal. My baby gives me such a thrill. That's right, that's right. Anywhere you would decide to be, we can be free. You bring out the best in me. Taking the time, show how much you mean to me. We can go anywhere you would decide to be. We can be free. You bring out the best in me. Taking the time, show how much you mean to me. Oh yeah. That's right, that's right, that is it right, I did, yeah. It's alright, you're in my life, it's alright, oh, won't you, baby, yeah. That's right.
That was great. We can go anywhere, featuring gigs.
Yes, Omar has done it again. I'm playing this album every single day. I kid you not. It's just really wonderful and really varied. And I think I picked this song because it's such an unusual to have gigs on this type of track and have them collaborate. I remember seeing the sleeve for the first time and going, really? Oh. And I love that. I love these playful, it really works, but these playful collaborations, right? It's just such a gift to us as an audience.
I'm going to talk about the challenges in play. So, what are the challenges or frustrations that you've encountered in your playful pursuits? And how have those experiences sort of influenced your understanding of play?
So I've done a lot of workshops and facilitation and mentorship, lots of students, different ages, different settings. And it's really interesting. It's almost like the more traditionally educated someone is, the more they find it really hard to let go. And there's something about this rigidity that I have to work through first before we can get to the work.
To be able to start to think about.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And usually it's through the body that I have to start there and let them have some safety in the body before we get to, pen and paper, or these days, the phone or the laptop or whatever it is. So that has been really interesting. But I guess when I bring it over to projects that I'm the artist in rather than facilitating, that has been a really big challenge. When people are rigid and they're not willing to come out of their comfort zone, they're not willing to come out of their habits, they're not willing to try something new. It's honestly the biggest enemy of progress there is.
It's so many things, isn't it? I think that there's that element of people, so many people don't play or don't think that they play or know what it is. So when it's presented in front of them and say, you can have this, they don't believe you. And then I think also there's that element, as you mentioned, of fear. And, we've been taught, and the rigidity, but we've been taught that, play and work, or, you either play or you're serious. You're a play or a serious person. You work or you play. You work and be productive, and you play and be unproductive. So I think those messages sort of roll around in people's heads, and also this idea of safety, because to play, you need to be vulnerable, and that's quite a hard space for people to step into. So, but I think that's where your practice sort of comes in, with the ways that you can bring them into that space.
And also this notion of like, people want to be right.
Yes.
And they don't want to be wrong. And when I go into space, I'm like, you can't get this wrong. Do you know that? Like there's kind of like no.
But also play is a space for trial and error.
Yeah.
It's a place where you can stumble and then try again, or start. And then, yeah.
But then, how do you, in any art form, how do you decide whether something has value or not? It's such a subjective thing.
Yes.
Like somebody can write something and they can be like, and I've been in that situation where they've gone, oh, this is really terrible. And you hear it and you're like, what are you talking about? That was such a visceral, wonderful thing for you to share. But they're too close to it to really understand that in the moment. So I think that, again, it goes back to openness.
Yeah. I think also we've been taught that play happens a certain way. In order for it to happen, you'd need to do this. It looks like this. So a lot of people don't know what it is. My next question was, do you think that as adults we play enough? But I think we're sort of moving into that anyway.
Oh, absolutely not. I think absolutely not. I think the world in general, I mean, if we think about back in the day with our ancestors and the way that they would have gathered, a lot of that would have been around play and music. A lot of that would have been intergenerational. There's so many things and structures that we have now that I think prevent people from not only just playing but also being playful and also being connected, because that's part of what play is, right? Whether it's a connection to yourself or connection to other people, connection to an idea, connection to a cause. It's all about connection.
Well, that answers my first question, which was sort of what are the steps that we can take to shift how people perceive play, and connection is a really good starting point. Have you noticed a difference in the way people experience play. And by that I mean sort of like different cultures or economically or social backgrounds, and how that shapes how people engage with play. I know you do a lot of workshops and facilitate a lot of sort of experiences of people. So do you find that economic or social background shape how people engage with play?
I think so. I mean, I think all of your lived experience does, right? And I think what's so interesting for me when I'm specifically doing workshops around writing is people often come with a lot of their personal things. And I try to create spaces in where people are comfortable enough to do that as well. And people will come, I mean, even recently with the New Poetry Prize workshop, somebody came along and just was like, my family rubbishes the fact that I want to be a writer. And I'm like, you are a writer. That's what we've been doing. You are a writer. And she was like, I needed this. I needed this space so much. But I think that, you know, typically, you know, if you're working class and you've got considerations that are very, you know, about things that are fundamental to your life. So if you are worried about your rent or your mortgage, or you're worried about these other things, and, you know, we've got the cost of living crisis. We've also got issues around food. You know, in the area that I live in, it's the first time in my life that I've seen people queuing an hour before a food bank and that queue being a mile long. How are you going to play when you're hungry? Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got literally bigger fish to fry, excuse the pun. So I think that play, as you said earlier, everyone should get to do it. It shouldn't be a privilege. It shouldn't be seen as a luxury. But when you haven't got the fundamentals there, everything becomes a luxury.
Yeah. That was what brings us on to my next question, which was about access and equity and the contributions, what contributes to the disparities in access to play. Some of the things that you mentioned about, you know, us being in the cost of living crisis, daily life, people's lived experiences.
I mean, I think that in a sense, we're in a really wonderful and interesting time, evolutionary, and in a lot of ways. And, you know, we have the internet, we have the World Wide Web. We're able to access a lot of resources fairly simply now, and able to be inspired by different cultures. And I think that in places where it's not necessarily, you know, I have to have like the latest, I don't know, PlayStation, or I have to have this latest gadget, or I have to have this kind of, I guess, intermediary between me and the concept of play. I think that culturally that's really useful. One of the things I love about poetry is you literally just need a piece of paper and a pen. It's one of the most accessible forms of art, right? You don't need a huge budget. You don't need all of these other things. You just need those two things, or a version of those two things if they're more technological. And so I love that about it. But, you know, back in the day, we would, when you watch children, I remember being in the park with a friend and his 9-year-old recently, and she made this beautiful structure out of twigs. It was just so wonderful to watch her excitement. And by the time it was finished, I was like, oh, that's a masterpiece. And it was so imaginative from things that people were just stepping on and walking past. And I think, again, going back to poetry, one of the wonderful things, and also the optimistic song, if you open your eyes, right? If you look, there's opportunities for you to be playful, creative, inspired everywhere. And it doesn't have to cost you anything.
I think, again, it comes back to that being able to give yourself permission, or finding somewhere where you can, where someone can tell you or you can take it. So we are actually nearing the end of our conversation.
Oh, well, the emoji for that is the one. Tears everywhere, splash, splash in the water.
So what a great day for a conversation on a boat. But we're not quite finished. This is your time to use your imagination and share your vision and imagine what play might look like 100 years into the future. Whether it feels utopian, dystopian, or something magically unexpected, will play still exist? Who will be the beneficiaries of play? Will there be more play in the world, or will people play less than they do now? Will play have evolved into a religion, or will it be viewed as a political stance or an economic system? Or will play have completely disappeared from human life?
Do, do, do. My neurospicy mind has just opened like 20 tabs. Where can we go? So many different places. I think that touching back on what I was saying before, I think that while we're going into this super hype technological space, I think that people are realizing that we're losing a sense of our nature. So what I envisage is that there's probably going to be lots of different types of play happening, depending on, like politics, like where you are psychologically, right? I think for some people it's going to be paring it right back down and coming to my park and being in the sunshine and the leaves wiping your face and all of that kind of stuff, and the birds singing, and maybe trying to do cartwheels even if you're scared of them, whatever the thing is, but that connection and that creation. And I think some people are going to go into a hyper technological space. I mean, I saw the other day someone talking about having a chip placed onto their brain. So they're now kind of experimenting with robotics and humanness and what have you. And I think for some people that's going to be their playground. They're like, how far can I push my body? How far can I integrate it into these types of things and these types of spaces? So I think that there's going to be these hyper spaces, but they're going to be different, and they're going to coexist in the same way that, you know, we do now when we have all of these different spaces and cultures. I think that human beings are really good in many ways at expressing themselves culturally and spiritually, which is why we have all of these different religions and languages and cuisines and what have you. I think it's an innate part of us. So I can't see like a single vision taking hold, unless, I think that would be terrible if it was a single vision, actually. I really like the diversity that is possible with what's going on in the world. And I just hope that whatever people do, that they do it for good. And again, going back to connection, they do it for connection with themselves, connection with other people, and that will then be a beautiful thing. So play on.
Okay. Well, I will definitely be coming to your park.
First in line, I love it.
First in line. Although a little part of me might be at the biotech. At least to have a look. But I'll be at the park first.
I love the loyalty.
Before I wrap up, I just wanted to ask, was there a question that you thought I might ask but didn't?
Wow, that's a good one. I think that you did a really fantastic job, and we covered such a lot of ground in a short amount of time. I think that I hope that what this podcast does in our conversation is it inspires people to incorporate more play in their life in ways that are beneficial to them,
Yes.
you know, and ways that are simple to them. Because I think, like with everything, whether it's, you know, I'm doing a new exercise regime, or I'm eating differently and what have you, people see where they want to be and don't necessarily envisage the journey to get there. So maybe just incorporate play one day a week and don't move on that. Like, just make it that important thing that you do, and then see where you go from there. But I think it's really important to commit to things that enhance enjoyment and enhance our well-being.
Enjoyment. Enhancing our health and well-being. Yes, that is a great part to end on. I want to say thank you for coming on the show and talking play with me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome. We've had fun. We've had moves. We've done all the other stuff.
We have. This is B. Manzini. I'm Imwen, and you've been listening to Can We Just Play, where we reimagine the vital role of play in adulthood, and we're broadcast from the Boat Pod. I hope you enjoyed this episode and it sparked something in you, a connection. And now that you're curious to listen in to more play conversations, but also to find play for yourself. I'm going to close with a song that I'm listening to right now. I love this track the moment I heard the edit. This track is originally from the 70s by Webster Lewis. It was recorded live and lasted 20 minutes. And this version, Do You Believe, is from the Magnetic Machines, who cut a very special edit and remix.
And it won't be